Kelowna is at a crossroads with short-term rentals. The mayor says the city may roll out a Made in Kelowna solution. What does this mean for homeowners, tourism, and housing? In this video, I'll break it down into 4 parts. And number 1 being the background and the problem here. So over the past couple of years, Kelowna's short-term rental landscape has shifted dramatically from a high of about 2,600 short-term rental units, half of those being unlicensed. This is pre-provincial rules. That number plummeted by over half under stricter regulations. Today, many property owners and tourism stakeholders are pushing back. They say the restrictions are hurting Kelowna's ability to host visitors, especially during peak seasons. Meanwhile, the city has made gains on housing. Vacancy rates have climbed from a low near 1% to roughly 4.5% today. This is mainly due to a large number of purpose-built rentals that have hit the market or will hit the market in the next 6 to 12 months. Almost everywhere you look in Kelowna, the building that's going on right now is all purpose-built rental. Other than maybe some of the ones closer to the water, almost everything else is purpose-built rental. So here's the tension. How does Kelowna support tourism without undermining housing availability and affordability as well? And that brings us to part 2. What has Kelowna done so far? Recently, Kelowna has aligned many of its short-term rental bylaws with the actual provincial rules. So under the current rules, the operator must live in the property for at least 240 days of the year. So basically their primary residence, should be their primary residence. A maximum of 3 bedrooms per dwelling unit can be used for short-term rentals. On lots with detached homes or a suite carriage house, that sort of thing, you're capped at 5 bedrooms total. Safety, neighborhood, and licensing requirements are enforced. And all of this must be in, again, your primary residence, meaning you can't live, say primarily, you can't have a single family home in the Upper Mission and own a condo downtown where you rent it out short term. And previously, stricter local rules had essentially banned new short-term rentals in many zones. Some operators were grandfathered in. Only about 400 licenses were grandfathered in. And then recently they opened up another, I think it was around 400 recently, so for this summer. So there's been a lot more that have come on the market, but you still can't have that as a secondary unit. Now, Kelowna may be able to opt out of the provincial program as long as our vacancy rate stays above 3% for at least 2 years. 2026 will probably be there, and that'll be determined by if the city actually wants to do that. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they do, especially for those new condos downtown and the ones that were really meant for and built for commercial purposes, being short-term rentals. Now, just going back to the more relaxed rules that we saw, complaints do still remain. Tourism operators are still saying there are fewer rental options and reduced revenue over the past couple summers. Now, I don't think that was strictly due to just the short-term rental ban. I think that's just one thing that was piled on top of the economy being horrible altogether with the cost of everything going up, whether it be gas, groceries, that sort of thing. So hopefully we'll see, in addition to the rule changes, if the city goes ahead with it, then hopefully next summer we'll see a boom again in tourism. So this leads us into part number 3, the mayor's Made in Kelowna idea. In a recent interview with Kelowna Now, Mayor Tom Dias recently signaled that the city is exploring, again, the Made in Kelowna solution for short-term rentals, one that is tailored to our community needs. His point was that Kelowna is not just another city, it's a fast-growing tourism hub and is facing pressures on both housing and visitor accommodation. The whole idea is to find a middle ground, regulations that allow property owners more flexibility, but still protect the long-term rental supply and curb neighborhood impacts as well. In the coming months, city staff will produce a detailed report and bring that forward to council. That could include options to opt out again of certain provincial rules if Kelowna meets specified vacancy thresholds, again, above 3% for at least 2 years. Again, we should hit that in 2026. Of course, nothing's decided yet because we have to wait till then, but the direction seems to be more flexible and responsive and a localized regulation. And that's really what it should have been all along. The province overall should have stayed out of the basically large ban of short-term rentals. It should have been down to the individual cities like it was before to determine what their short-term rental rules are. I think the province went way too far with it. I think it was more of a political move than anything, which most of the time it usually is. So hopefully even if the province doesn't change the rules, which they probably won't, hopefully Kelowna can opt out of the provincial rules or some changes there, which will bring back hopefully a lot of that short-term rental stock. Now that leads us into part number 4, what to watch for and what you can do as Kelowna moves forward. Here's what to watch for. So number 1 is the city staff report that'll be coming out and the council vote based on that report. Vacancy trends, Kelowna may soon qualify again to opt out of the provincial rules if vacancy rates remain high. Number 3, how compliance and enforcement are handled. Number 4, stakeholder input from residents, operators, tourism, and real estate. If you're a property owner or tourism operator, stay informed, get involved at public consultations, plan smart if you want to operate a future short-term rental. Kelowna can't afford to lose tourist dollars, but it also can't erode the long-term rental base, which I think all of these new purpose-built rentals hitting the market, that won't happen. A made in Kelowna solution could be the right balance if it's done well. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject. What do you think is the right balance for Kelowna's short-term rental situation? Should we bring them back or keep the rules as they are?